Hey, what's up my peeps? I am back again with another video. Welcome to Island Tries the Internet. My finals are over and I'm finally happy again. Okay, so this week I thought we would take a look at a YouTuber that I've seen populating my feed for a fair amount of time. That is the great Lilly Singh. So yeah, she has, I'm assuming you've probably heard of her. She's also known as like Superwoman. She's got like around almost 15 million subscribers, and she's a bit of a comedy channel. And she's also hosted her own late night show, which is why I've been seeing a lot of her on my feed over time. But I'm a little late on the bandwagon here of, I suppose, criticism, but I just wanted to take a look at her honest Q&A. So that we take a look, I'd review this video and let you know my personal thoughts and opinions on the matter. So yeah, if you like me and you like this video, leave it a thumbs up so that I know I can review other YouTubers that are kind of big and much more, have a bigger following than I do. So it's a little bit intimidating to kind of come at these people. I'm not coming at them though, I'm just noting things. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna do more of that if you like this. There we go. And then also, if you like me and stuff, subscribe. And to all those who are already subscribed, it's so great to see you again. Happy week, happy weekend to you. I do want to note that I'm gonna have like a flex meter somewhere on the screen, because something that I've noticed from just reviews of her videos, I haven't seen a whole lot of her videos, I've more seen a lot of reviews and criticisms, so I suppose in that way I'm somewhat biased, but I'd like to mention that's where I've seen a lot of it. I have seen a few of her videos, but like I'm not like a avid fan or anything like that, considering how many videos she has on her channel. But I know she likes to subtly flex. I don't even know if you could say subtly, but just flex on people for no exact reason.
How did you deal with the criticism, bad reviews about your show on NBC? You see Instagram posts, you see all those things. It's easy to trick yourself and to be like, oh my god, everyone doesn't like my show. Even this question is phrased in a world where like, how did you feel about all the bad reviews? Statistically, from NBC, my show way outperformed whatever was in that time slot before. It has been a success for them. So let's just get that there. I'm not saying the show is perfect and that it's the best thing I've ever made. I definitely think it should be criticized. There's lots of things to improve, but I just need to emphasize that statistically for NBC, this show has been a win. Of course, I got so many comments from people online.
Okay, I'd like to address her first spicy question, as she terms it. So, her first question is like, how do you respond to like all the bad criticism and feedback of her TV show? And the first thing she does is go into defense mode, which is, hey, I'd like to start off with flex meter, ding on that. The fact that it's been a success on this, it's been far better than whatever was on there before. And then she also kind of pivots the question where it's like, it makes it seem like there's a lot of bad feedback, but there's not. And as far as I've seen what's been populating my feed, it does seem like there's a lot of bad feedback. It seems like there's a lot of criticism, a lot of people saying she's not funny, which could be portrayed more as like a hater kind of view, but that's also your raw opinion on comedy to some extent. And I think, if memory serves me correctly, the IMDb page had around 5,000 reviewers who rated it, I think it was like 1.5 stars or something like that. And personally, I like to use the IMDb page as just like a reference for critics and people's opinions on movies and such. And so to say that those 5,000 people kind of didn't, it kind of seems like she's saying that it didn't matter, in a way. That's kind of interesting. I understand the idea of kind of like pivoting when you get bad feedback and saying like, no, it's a success. That's what they told me, at least. And someone so heightened in her career at this point, it's probably a defense mechanism to say that. But yeah, I'd like to specify the interesting perspective that she's taken on this by not kind of noting that there's criticism at all and more noting that this is positive. I do appreciate, though, that she is saying that it's not perfect, and of course there's things to improve on. So I like that at the very least, she's willing to see that there is something to improve. But I wish she had framed it in such a way that didn't connote a sort of flex on top of it.
Why are you so not funny on the show? Why don't you do videos like how you do these rants? Why don't you do that on the show? Why are you so loud on the show? Why aren't your segments funny? Those critiques, and I mean this in the most respectful way, are in a way similar to when I watch a basketball game and I go, oh my God, what an idiot. How could you not make that 3-point? I know that I have no idea what it's like to play on that court and play in the NBA and be on that team and shoot from that mark, but I'm still going to critique it. I have to be very selective of who I take criticism.
I'd like to stop right there just with that thought. As I was saying before I even continued, I guess I'm a bit of a predictor. Like I was saying, she seems like she's kind of negating the fact that people are criticizing her by saying that their opinions aren't worthwhile or important, which is a little bit strange for me personally, just because this might be a personal problem, of course, that I take things very personally that people tell me, and I immediately take them to heart, and I say, well, maybe there is something I can change, do better. Whether or not their full thought is something that I should do, I do take to heart the fact that somebody is noting something, and I'd like to make it so that they like it. I mean, you can't please everyone, of course, but on the small scale that I am, it seems silly to kind of just deny those people the right to an opinion just because they don't act in your field. Also, the idea of connoting talk show hosting with basketball is like assumption that basketball players are the only ones who can critique basketball in the same way that talk show people would be the only way to critique talk show people. But that's not the case. I mean, basketball is not really subjective, I'd like to say. Like basketball, you make a point, that point's yours. Comedy is subjective. You earning, in the case of the equivalent, a point would be like a laugh. And the idea of earning a laugh, if you didn't earn that laugh, then you didn't earn that point, and so you can be criticized. I mean, that's an equivalent if you're going to make a basketball reference. But, yeah, very strange to say that. I feel like that's a little bit cocky just because she's at that bit of a level that's kind of really high up. And so she's like, I'm not taking criticism from anybody except my peers, which is an opinion you could take, I suppose.
From, because if Fallon or Kimmel or Corden or someone came up to me and was like, yo, this is my critique of your show, I'd be like, oh frick, this person knows exactly what it's like to make this show. They know all the obstacles. They're informed about this. Let me listen to their opinion. That doesn't mean I'm not listening to people online. I am, but it's just so hard because 99.9% of the time when someone has a critique, there's a very valid reason why that is. Why am I so loud on the show? It's because my budget is small, my studio is small, we don't have a built-in sound system. I constantly have to feel like I'm yelling in order to hear myself over everything else that's happening in the studio. Try to divide the criticism.
Again, I feel like she's just kind of like just pivoting and blocking those criticisms. In the example that she makes, she says, like I had mentioned, the idea of having your peers being the only people you can take criticism from is just absurd. I mean, I'm a writer. I like writing. And I still take opinions from my friends who are not writers. I still like to... The way that I get feedback and review from a lot of my stories that I write is I give it to my best friend who has no prior experience in the writing field, really. She's like a science major, so I mean, I give that to her just for her personal opinion and feedback on things, because one, she's really good at grammar, and also I just value her opinion, despite the fact that she's not in the creative writing field or taking high-level English classes. That doesn't mean that I can't accept her feelings in the matter. Just because they're not your peers in that field doesn't mean that they don't know what they're saying, and especially when it comes to comedy. I just like to note that there. And then also I'd like to say the parallel of saying, oh, it's kind of a bit of a flex, so that's number 2. Being like, oh, well, it's a high production thing and I'm not used to it, so there's a lot of reasons why you're saying the things that you're saying. And so I feel like that's kind of like a little bit of pushback to those comments. Like you saying, why are you so loud on the show? Well, it's because of the equipment. You're kind of denying that person's feelings in a strange way, because it's like you're admitting the fact that they're right, but you're admitting it in the way that you don't want to change it. You use an external factor to kind of push the blame onto, as if you're saying, well, if only my lights and setting and everything were better. Girl, I have one microphone and an iPhone that I film on, and I feel like I hope I don't come off as though I'm yelling in videos. And I can understand, and I can't relate to this fact, but I can understand the idea of having so much commotion on that it's kind of hard to hear yourself. That happens in a lot of presentations and things like that, of course, for normal people. But to say that the lighting and equipment is the reason why, just say the reason why that this happens is because of the lighting and equipment, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better. And it's a personal thing because it's not the lighting and equipment. It's you having to get used to that equipment is actually what you need to fix. It's not, the blame is not on the equipment. The blame is still on you, regardless of if the equipment is a problem.
Criticism that I can actually implement versus criticism that's like, oh, you know what? Like, there's so many reasons why it can't be this way. And then I have to deal with that. And that's one of the hardest parts about the show. I have to deal with all of these comments from people who tell me things should be a certain way without realizing why they can't be that way. But it's still...
Well, of course no one's going to ever know all of the factors that are associated with you. That's for you to decide. I shouldn't be holding back my criticism because I don't know the things you're dealing with. You should be filtering that criticism based off of what you know.
Are you getting upset? You're getting a lot less views on YouTube. Into my heart. Open my hair now because I feel like I'm over it. Yeah, it's no surprise. I am getting less views on YouTube. I think my videos back in the day used to get millions of views. Now they struggle to get to 1 million. I still like making content, and I think technology has changed in such a way where YouTube is not the place where I get the most views. I think I tweeted about this recently too, which is probably what prompted this question. I still get the millions of views on Facebook and on Instagram. My TikTok is growing. My YouTube is really slowed down. It is what it is, you know? I think the trade-off is that instead of posting in one place and getting a lot of views, I post in multiple places and probably accumulate the same number of views. Of course, people want to be like, you're not relevant enough. You're not relevant on YouTube. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. I don't know. I can't live my life being governed by views. Truthfully.
I appreciate that thought that she has made here. The idea of having yourself governed by views is a bit difficult. I mean, I know my channel is really small, so I feel like each view counts for me, where I get... The most that my videos have gotten is 300, and I feel really proud of that fact because comparatively a lot of my other videos have gotten like maybe like 15 or something. And so for me, I'm like, oh wow, that's like, if I put out this video and it got 15 views, I'd feel really bad about it, to be honest, because I'd be like, dang, what did I mess up on? Those other videos did a lot better. And of course I would be working to improve that fact. It doesn't seem like she's looking to improve her channel, which, I mean, I guess when you're that size, at, again, 15 million about, you don't really look towards improvement, you look towards stagnation, considering her other view counts were in the millions, typically. But more recently, I think when I looked at her channel, it was at like the 6-month mark, like 6 months ago, her views went down a lot. Like, it went from like 1 million, 3 million views for things to like 500,000. So that's like a 50% dip in viewership. And again, she kind of pushes the blame onto the fact that things are changing, and I suppose that is a bit of a coping mechanism to make yourself feel better, because it can get really hard to look at those views and associate them with yourself. So it is a positive thought to be like, okay, I understand that I'm maybe not as relevant like she said, but I'm still doing what I'm doing, and I still like doing what I'm doing, and that's kind of admirable for me, at least. So while she is kind of pushing and pivoting the blame and criticism and not really taking it full force, in this case, I do admit that it's maybe not the best case to take on that full force criticism, like, your channel kind of sucks now kind of thing. Do what you can. Take the criticism that you can. I guess you can't always accept it all. So Oh, I also forgot to note the flex of, I still get millions of views on these other things. It's kind of like 1 or 2 flex points. If you're still counting with me, that's about 3 or 4, depending on how you feel about how many times she brought that up.
You never really respond to haters, but if you could without holding back, what would you say? I do believe I'm very and witty, and every once in a while I'm like, okay, I see your hate comment and I want to respond, but I won't. I'm gonna answer this question in 2 parts. This is my honest answer to haters. First, there's a difference between critique and haters. Disclaimer, yeah. I'm talking about people that are just there bashing my ish because they're not happy about where they are in life. That's who I'm talking about. Now, there's 2 answers I can give you. One is, I have met a lot of successful people in my life. That is one of the great things in my life. I've met all of my mentors, people that I idolize. Not a single one of them, not even one, spends their time online critiquing people or writing mean things. Even if you said, oh, it's not a hate comment, it's just them critiquing, I still would say I've not met one of those people who has felt the need to go and criticize someone else's work for any reason.
I don't know about that. That seems a bit strange to me to say. Again, the caveat of push, pivot, and shove the blames elsewhere, instead of noting the fact that haters gonna hate if we're gonna use old terminology. But the fact that you say that your greatest mentors have never critiqued anything ever in their whole life, they don't critique anyone, like constructively or otherwise. They don't give any critiques to anyone ever. That's a lie. I don't care who you are. There's no way you've never critiqued anyone. I consider myself a nice person, and I still like to critique things because I think that my opinion is valid in some cases. And that feels nice. I don't know. It feels weird to say, well, the most successful people never criticize others. I don't know about that. I feel like they do. I feel like they really do, especially depending on how you connote success. I mean, maybe success looks differently for her mentors, but a lot of successful people that I've seen in media criticize people all the time. No matter what, you're always going to have an opinion on something. If you don't have any opinion on something, then that's a little bit strange to me. So to say that they never critique any, like you're telling me these successful people that you know have never gone to a restaurant and had like a mediocre meal and been like, dang, I feel like this could have been better. I feel like maybe the plates could have been better, or like the seating could have been better. That's a critique. I'll let you know that is a critique still. You might not say that to the owner's face or anyone in particular, but you're still critiquing it. Just because you don't tell them doesn't mean you don't ever critique someone. Some are just more bold about saying their critique online and stuff. So that's just a bold-faced lie that kind of pivots and demoralizes people who critique things. I watch a lot of YouTubers who critique things, and I don't think they're bad people because they critique people. I think they're just trying their best to help these people do better. Also, by the way, that's 5 or 6 on the flex meter at this point because, girl, I'm surrounded by all kinds of successful people. Hair flip, etc. Okay? Just because I may not be, not to say that I'm not surrounded by successful people, I am. But even if I wasn't, does that make me less of a person? Should I be like, oh wow, what a flex. I just feel I can't critique you anymore. You know successful people. Just an interesting take on how to pivot and push away criticism. Or I guess she's saying haters in this case, but still? I don't know if haters are necessarily doing these things that she's saying at the moment.
Have ever in the history of my career been affected by hate comments. But let's go do some math real quick. I have 3.3 billion views on YouTube. Some of my videos get like 2% dislikes. There's some videos that have like, let's even say some videos that are like me trying to be a strong, empowered woman have like 50% likes. Let's just say an average.
A sort of flex and a push. A lot of the videos of me being a strong, empowered woman are the ones that are doing poorly. I don't off the bat kind of connote those two ideas together. Like, unless somebody was deliberately saying, I just hate how strong of a woman you are in your comments below, I don't necessarily associate a poor video with the fact that you're being a strong woman. There's probably other factors there. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I understand that there are haters of strong women that exist in the world. I'm a woman, I know this. But I find it hard to believe that that's the only reason why that video would have done poorly. I'm not sure which video she's talking about, or video is plural.
And this is still probably way exaggerated. Let's just say of all those 3.3 billion views, I had 15% thumbs down. 15% of 3.3 billion. 495 million thumbs downs. Let's assume the thumbs downs are haters, people that have the notifications on to be like, dislike. Now, when you get paid for views, you get paid in units of 1,000 views. So I'm gonna take this number of thumbs downs, which represents views, okay? And I'm going to divide it by 1,000. 495,000. Let's say CPM, if you don't know that, that's like the amount of money you get per 1,000 views. It can range from $1, $1.50 to $2. It can range, okay? Let's just say that I got $1.50, which is like an average one for every 1,000 views. Okay, so now I'm gonna times this number by 1.5. That would mean that people over the span of my career who have thumbs down my videos, not to say they're all haters, but let's just for the sake of this argument in simple math, say that they were haters, they gave me a view, they thumbs down my video. Over the span of my career, that means that those people would have contributed to $742,000.
Another flex. Look at how much money you've earned me. As your response to a hater. It's fairly petty, in my opinion, to do a lot of math. That took about a full minute of you just verbalizing math. I didn't come to this video for that, but I mean, if you feel the need to do that and it makes you feel better, then okay. But also, how many, if you were to assume that those are all haters, how many of those exactly clicked in to watch? Because I know that the rate of money that you get also depends on how long the person's watching. So how long do those people watch your video? And also, I think, as if I saw in another video, you need to get like 30 seconds of them in order for it to count as a view. So I'm gonna stop the video there. And I don't know, she kind of, like I said several times, pivot and push away that criticism. So I don't think that's a healthy view to take necessarily in terms of growth, but let me know in the comments down below how you feel. Maybe you're a hardcore fan and you're able to say that her opinion is well-founded and this is how somebody should feel about criticism at all times. But for me, it seems a little bit strange to say those things just because I'm smaller and people mean things to me. Every view is of an actual person rather than just a number that's calculated to earn me money later on. So yeah, that's all I've got, but I'll see you next week. Bye!